Welcome everybody to a review of a brand new Indicator release that is 1971's Cold Eyes of Fear. So this is directed by Enzo G. Castellari, who also did the likes of The Inglorious Bastards, The Big Racket, High Crime, The Heroin Busters, and Kill Them All and Come Back Alone. All of those I've enjoyed. Only really the last one of those that I've given less than 4 stars. All the rest have had 4 or more. So I really was looking forward to this film, considering who's directing it. And it's a Giallo thriller, clocking in at 92 minutes long. Stars Gianni Garco, who was in the likes of The Psychic, the historical epic Waterloo, and he was in the lead role in 4 Sartana films. It also stars Frank Wolff, who was in the likes of Once Upon a Time in the West, The Great Silence, Kill Them All and Come Back Alone, I Am Sartana, Your Angel of Death, as well as another Giallo film, Death Walks on High Heels. And it also stars Fernando Rey, who was in both of the French Connection films as the drug kingpin, as well as The Hit and High Crime. So it's about a handsome young playboy who picks up a pretty Italian girl and brings her to his uncle's house for some fun. What he doesn't know is that 2 dangerous convicts are lying in wait at the house, one to avenge themselves on the young man's uncle, who was the judge who caused him to go to jail, and the other one for money. And this is a really well constructed Giallo and thriller, mix of Giallo and thriller, although this is definitely more of the latter than the former. There is no mystery element to this concerning who the killer is, along with minimal amounts of violence until the final act, although that final act does certainly make up for it. And that said, though, the cinematography coupled with the editing is excellent. The cast is really good, the pacing is on point, the tension is effective. The plot is overall engrossing, especially as it slowly envelops in terms of what is actually going on, because initially it just seems like a typical kind of like house invasion film, but then the second convict comes into this, and it just gets more and more expansive in terms of what the actual whole plot of this film is, which is really rather excellent. The score by Ennio Morricone is great. The finale is well executed, and its style is really commendable. So, this is a fantastic release from Indicator. It's in fact the first 4K release I have bought from them. They are seemingly bringing these more and more out now, though, with several other releases coming up in the future. And this comes in a really rather nice hard box with new artwork going on for it. And unlike other releases like Road Games or Force 10 from Navarone, which had quite thick boxes, this is actually quite skinny. Now, granted, that does mean that it doesn't have much in the way of physical extras, but it does mean that it's a lot better for people like me who have way too many films and are really lacking in space. So, this thin hard box, which is really rather nicely well constructed, is a welcome change, quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned. But you still do get a booklet with this, which has a shot from the film, and then I'm assuming that's the director on the rear end there. And inside you get the cast and your crew, you get plenty of shots from the film, and you do also get some write-ups as well, like What the Eye Doesn't See by Roberto Curti from this year, The Giallo Suits Raleigh by Alberto Ceretto from 1970. Raleigh, I think, is how Enzo was referred to. And The Eyes of Italian Cinema, an interview with Giovanni Raleigh. Oh no, actually, Raleigh might well be the scriptwriter, is it? I didn't really look up the who was involved in that kind of thing. Enzo Giovanni. Oh, it's an actor. Anna. She's the girl that is picked up by our Playboy. So, an interview with her by Eugenio Ercolani. And then you got an interview with Gianni Garco himself by Igor Grimaldi from 1999. Then you got The Death of Frank Wolff, Inside the Ring with Enzo G. Castellari by Mark Wickham from 2001. Critical Response, and About the Restoration. So, this has been restored really rather nicely. I think it looks absolutely excellent, which is despite the fact that most of this film takes place in one house. There are scenes where it's outside in London, which is a different kind of setting for a Giallo film, quite frankly. It's been scanned, restored, and colour corrected in 4K HDR at Final Frame Post in London using the original 35mm negative. It's got a combination of MTI and Nucoda DVO image processing tools were used to remove many thousands of instances of dirt, eliminate scratches and other imperfections, as well as repair damaged frames. No grain management, edge enhancement, or sharpening tools were employed to artificially alter the image in any way. And the original mono audio tracks were remastered by Michael Brook. So, yeah, it's a really good sign that they've not used any, automated kind of systems to get rid of any imperfections, because usually they can make imperfections themselves or make the film look artificially, plasticky in some kind of ways. It just doesn't look right, quite frankly. So yeah, I'm really pleased that they've gone through each frame themselves and restored it where necessary. So yeah, you do get shots from the film, but I'm not really going to show too much off because I don't want to spoil a lot of it. But there's Garko and what's the name again? Raleigh. Garko and Raleigh. So he's the lead and she's the one he picks up early into the film. And yeah, it's a fantastic little booklet, this. Well, I say little, but it is a good 70 odd pages, so it's not that little, quite frankly. So yeah, that's going to be well worth reading. And what I also like is the fact that they've done this film release in the way that they've done their box sets, which is have these really rather nice cardboard come plastic disc holders, I guess, essentially. And yeah, it's really rather nicely done. I always like these cardboard ones that they do. I much prefer them. They feel a little bit more upmarket than the usual plastic, full plastic cases. So yeah, really like it. And yeah, the 4K looks fantastic. And yeah, it's overall really well done as a film, as far as I'm concerned. I'll probably enjoy it even more upon my second rewatch now that I know what I'm getting in for, because I was expecting a full Giallo film, to be honest. So when it ended up not being like that, it was a little bit disconcerting, but yeah, now I know what I'm getting in for, I will definitely enjoy it some more. And when you do get this, you'll get it with this around the bottom of the hard box, which, yeah, isn't stick-on or anything like that. It's just held into place by the shrink wrap. So yeah, basically just tells you about the film, what's the extras in it, the rating as well, which is an 18. And yeah, it's actually one of 96 out of 6,000, so I'm really early into getting this. Usually I'm well into the hundreds or even well over 1,000 by the time I usually get on hold on these films. Whether or not that's a sign that this film is selling well or not, I don't know. But yeah, still, there's plenty of them out there. You can also get it on standard Blu-ray if you so wish, which has been restored in its own kind of way as well. There's also 6,000 of those, so there's 12,000 of these being put out there, which is always great, especially since this is a UK debut for this film on Blu-ray or 4K. And yeah, it's well worth seeing, especially if you're into the director's films, which I am. And yeah, I look forward to seeing more of his films if they are released by Indicator or anyone else, quite frankly. So yeah, if you've seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But if you haven't and you're into these kind of films, especially, Italian thrillers, then yeah, I do highly recommend it. 4 out of 5 as far as I'm concerned. Potentially 4.5 upon a second rewatch. But yeah, nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.